Hey everybody, it's Matthew with Second Star Survival. The other day, a brother of ours, not in our specific community, but in the bushcrafting community, um, his channel's name is Be Ready Today. He tagged me in one of his videos on how I got started in bushcrafting or survival or prepping, one of those categories. Well, when I was younger, I grew up in the projects. My parents were poor. I mean, my dad worked first, second, and third shift at Chattanooga Glass, slaving away. And, I never really had that much family time or anything. But any chance I got to, my grandparents on my dad's side of the family, they were full-blooded Cherokee. And they had almost 100 acres and a house that my grandfather built by hand and everything down in McDonald, Georgia. And anytime that I could, I would go down there and help my grandparents out as best as I could. Raised up on a farm, but I was still a city boy at heart, And my grandfather, he always tried to teach me Native American ways and survival. And he said one day, I know I was young and dumb and I didn't want to listen to my grandfather, but he said one of these days I may need these skills. Well, being a dumb city boy and everything, I listened to him and everything, but I really didn't take it to heart a lot. So a lot of the stuff that he did teach me, I forgot. And now that but I've always loved the outdoors. I've always loved being in the outdoors. My uncle was an outdoorsman also. He was a hunter, fisher, a hunter, fisherman. He had a little hunting lodge that he was a member of. And I really didn't go with him hunting, but I always went to go fish when he would go hunt. But a lot of the stuff, fire making, all that, I really learned from my uncle, even though I'm not the best at it, because if I wasn't with them, I was in the city, and we didn't need it because we had electricity, we had AC, HVAC unit, and stuff like that. So, but now that I'm older, I still enjoy the outdoors, and I still love the outdoors. And a lot of the stuff that I was young and dumb and didn't want to listen to my grandfather while he was alive just hit me all of a sudden. Like, why didn't I listen to my grandparents more or my uncle more? I should have. I could have been better. I could have done something. And now, even though, I love exploring the woods, I wouldn't particularly say I'm a straight up bushcrafter, but I enjoy the outdoors. I'm not if I don't have to, I'm not going to build a A-frame shelter out of twigs and sticks and stuff like that. I'm going to have modern conveniences. I'm going to have a tent. I'm going to have stuff that I need. The only way that I would use that kind of knowledge or anything like that is if I definitely was in a survival situation. I mean, being a bushcrafter, there's really no sense in just carrying a tarp with you and suffering out in the woods. I mean, there's people that want to do that and want to try. My grandfather didn't call it bushcrafting. He called it wilderness living. There was a difference. I mean, it was being able to go out in the woods and survive like the Native Americans did, before modern conveniences. 90% of the time, you're not going to go out and spear a deer or chase buffalo off a cliff or something like that to get your next meal. 90% of the time, even the Native Americans, most of their diet was natural vegetation and stuff. Meat was rare. I mean, it was, and I mean, pemmican, stuff like that. That was to last through winter, not to be eaten every day because they had a grocery store they could walk down the street and go and get and make it. It's one of those things. If they came across meat, yeah, they would take it. I mean, a squirrel, rabbit, something. Even a possum, raccoon, whatever. That was primitive living back then, not bushcrafting, not survival. I mean, technically, yeah, it was survival, but they survived in more ways than just scavenging 24/7. I mean, eh, bushcrafting to me is going out, enjoying nature, enjoying wilderness, enjoying what, excuse my language, but what the good Lord put here for us. It's beautiful outside. There's no sense in why you shouldn't go out and enjoy nature. People can stereotype it in whatever way that they want to, but it's more than just one thing. Bushcrafting can turn into survival. You know, Prepping can turn into the savior of bushcrafting and survival. If you don't prep, you don't. It's like what's going on right now with this COVID-19 thing. If the preppers didn't prep, everybody would have been fighting tooth and nail. There would have been a lot more deaths and everything with people fighting over toilet paper and stuff like that. There's no point in that. There's really no point in it. But we as human beings, it's always me first. Who cares about anything else? But the thing that got me back into outdoors and bushcraft and everything was waking up, and I have a, well, I consider him a mentor to me, but I started watching Dave on Really Big Monkey 1, Fun in the Woods with Dave. I started watching him, and the way he explained things, the way he is so happy to be outside. That's how I used to be, and that's what I wanted to be. I had a gap in my, I don't know, I was depressed a lot and everything, and after watching Dave, there was one time he said, you know, he would tell anybody to make a YouTube channel, and he supports anybody that would make a YouTube channel and stay with it. And when I heard that, I was like, you know, why not make a YouTube channel? Why not learn? And because in this day of age, it's easier to contact with people that have the same interests as you as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And now that there's communities on YouTube that help each other, if you lack in a skill and you don't know what you're doing wrong, there's people that will step up and help you and talk you through it. And you don't get that in normal society. It's only through our type of community do you get that. And that's why I've enjoyed being a bushcrafter and stuff a lot more. And since I broke my knee, I missed being outside so much. I've had a window to look outside at nature and just wish I was out there. And now that I can start to walk, barely walk again, I'm sitting on my front porch just watching nature and listening to it, and it calms me, you know? It takes me to a happier place, you know? And I want to be able to do the skills that my grandfather and my uncle tried to teach me, and I was too dumb and too young to listen and understand. And hopefully I can make them proud, them looking down on me and saying, at least he's trying now. But that's the thing. That's why I got into bushcrafting and wilderness and survival and stuff, if you want to say that. Because the thing with me and survival is a lot of people want to put the top rated gear and stuff like that in their bag and never touch it or use it. And if a situation comes where they do need to use it, they don't know how to. You know how many people how many people in the survival community probably bought a ferro rod or a Nathan 4071 ferro rod because of everybody praising Nathan's ferro rods? Don't get me wrong, they are the best. But you know how many people probably bought it and don't even know how to use it? And when that time comes, they'll probably throw it away because they would take a lighter over learning the skill of a ferro rod or flint and steel. But that's the thing. Like, I've even learned how to roll my own cigarettes like the old cowboys did. You know, that's only a skill that people in Europe do anymore. In the other countries, you know, everybody else buys those tubes and machine and does it, but they don't know how to roll their own cigarette. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't know how to do it at the first either, but that's another thing. What happens if STHF happens, SHTF happens, and there is no more pre-made cigarettes, and all you can do is grow your own tobacco? Do you know how to process that? Do you know how to, you know, if you don't, then you're going to suffer. But there's hundreds of different skills that need to be learned in every one of those categories. There isn't just one thing. If you do bushcrafting, then you have a higher chance of surviving than, say, Joe down the street. You know, you have a higher chance of surviving because you know how to boil water, you know how to find water, you know how to make fire. You know, it just depends on if you learned edible plants or not. If you haven't learned edible, you may die. There's because one place may have a stream, but there may not be any fish in it. Or they may have fish, but too small to even eat. You got to look at those situations. Like, should you camp here? Is there enough food to support you? If you're really wanting to make this a true skill, if you're just a part-time hobbyer of bushcrafting, you just want to go out and set a campfire, bring a steak and potatoes and all this stuff out there and do a video of just cooking something over a fire. That's not real survival or bushcrafting, or that's just camping to me. You know, but then there's some bushcrafters that go out, have no food or anything, and what they catch is what they eat. And that's like what my grandfather told me was wilderness survival. You know, wilderness living. If you know how to catch your food, you know how to stalk and hunt your prey, good for you. Sorry, I thought I saw somebody walking on my driveway, but it was just a deer. Anyways. That's the only bad thing about these cigarettes. They go out just like regular cigarettes. But yeah. This is a tag video, and he said to tag 3 other people. Well, I've got enough subscribers and enough friends and everything that it's hard to choose just 3. And I know some big name people and stuff like that wouldn't do it because I asked them to, like Dave. You know, he's already done videos about this stuff. There's no sense in making him redo another video. So, in my response, I'm going to have this as an open tag. Anybody that's wanting to do it, I'll give 3 big name people. I'll give three people that I wanna see and I want to hear from. One is Jerry at Jerry's Wood Shop and Outdoors. I want to know how you got into bushcrafting and survival and everything. The next person is my brother Bill Melton. I know he's stuck up in a bed right now. He broke his leg just like I did. So this would be a good video for him to do, since he doesn't have to get out or anything for that. Then, let's see here, another person. I'll give a shout out to Chris and Sharon's homestead. Chris and Sharon's homestead. I wanna know you, what got you into all this, Chris. And just one more mention. CR, brother, if you're watching, I wanna know what got you into this too. But those are the 4 main people. Then the rest, if y'all wanna tag in, if y'all wanna do this, just go ahead. Make one. Ain't nothing holding y'all back. So those are the 4 honorable mentions. Then the rest of y'all can do whatever y'all want to. Maybe 5. Trail trash outdoors. I wanna hear y'all's. Alright. So all of y'all, Jerry, Bill, Chris, CR, and Trail Trash. I want to hear y'all's. Alright. Much love and respect to y'all. Love y'all, family. Bye.